Today on the 2020 Awards podcast, we are looking back at the Harrison Ford thriller, The Fugitive.
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. Average foot speed over uneven ground, barring injury, is 4 miles an hour. That gives us a radius of 6 miles. What I want out of each and every one of you is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, or doghouse in that area. Checkpoints go up at 15 miles. Your fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimball.
Fugitive was written by Jeb Stewart and David Toohey and directed by Andrew Davis. The film opens with the murder of Dr. Richard Kimball's wife. The film jumps back and forth between the murder and Ford being arrested. Despite Ford's claims that there was a one-armed man in his apartment when he discovered his wife's body, all the evidence points to Ford being the killer, and he is incarcerated. During Ford's transfer to the big house, a botched prisoner escape sends the bus careening onto a train track, and Ford manages to escape and goes on the lam to prove his innocence. The remainder of the film follows Ford as he puts the pieces together to find the one-armed man, all while U.S. Marshal Tommy Lee Jones is hot on his trail. The film climaxes when Ford reveals a big pharma conspiracy behind the murder of his wife, perpetrated by his colleague played by Jerome Kreb. 20 years ago, it opened to strong critical response and garnered nearly $370 million at the box office. Fugitive received 7 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Cinematography, Editing, Score, Sound Editing, and Tommy Lee Jones took home the gold for the Best Supporting Actor. Joining us today is filmmaker John Jeffcoat. John is the director of Bingo, the documentary, that's Bingo with an exclamation point, and the indie comedy Outsourced. He's currently wrapping up post on his next feature film, Big in Japan. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks for having me.
So, we were just talking about this. You had seen this 20 years ago?
Yes, I saw it when it came out. I remember the hype around it, and I remember being excited because, of course, I grew up with Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and so obviously I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan.
Of course.
And, so it was exciting to see him in a new movie whenever one came out. But my memory of it was it was a little bit off. I remember not liking it as much as I thought I was going to like it. So it was interesting looking at it again and watching it. And I felt it, I enjoyed it. I watched it again, and I thought, especially, well, the first thing that bugged me was the recreation of the murder in the beginning. I hate that, the effect that they used, the sort of, staggered
slow-mo
imagery, slow-mo image.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very efficient storytelling, the way they set it all up. And then the other thing that I was stuck on was they said, you did it for the money. And this guy is like one of the most well-respected doctors in the area, right? And it's like, he hardly needs money.
You're talking about Jerome Kreb, or how do you say that guy's name?
Yeah. Jerome Kreb played his friend.
He played his friend,
right?
It had nothing to do with it until the end.
Yeah, and the police.
The police were saying that Ford did it for the money.
Like,
right.
we know you did it for the money. Your wife was, and who was gonna? She was insured, and who's the beneficiary, and and then it takes Tommy Lee Jones to come in and say, he was a doctor. Why would he need the money? And it's like, okay, well, so the setup was, but but it's Harrison Ford, and he's going to be trying to figure out the murder, and it's going to be fun. So just you let it go.
Yeah.
And then it's he gets in the prison, and then the prison guard thing, the scene in the bus and the train, that's all really cool.
That's a great scene.
It was really great. But the thing is, I think they used the whole budget on that. So when they had to throw the dummy off the bridge at the dam, it's like there was no budget left for a decent dummy to go off the thing. So when it did
look a little bit like a dummy, didn't it?
Yeah,
that pretty clear.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But still, I thought it held up pretty well. Thanks to, I think, Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones' performance.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I thought it was actually fun to watch. I forgot most of it. Although I did, as soon as I saw Jerome, his friend, I remembered. Oh yeah, that's that guy.
Right. I actually remember when I first saw him 20 years ago. I was like, oh, that's the guy. Because it's that weird thing where it's like
that accent.
He's got that accent, but there's also that thing where it's like, oh, he's kind of a big name, but it's such a small part. So, I guess he's
he a big name?
He was kind of a big name back then. He'd been in enough stuff that like when he popped up in the credits, I was like, oh yeah, that guy.
Well, his name, I wouldn't know his name, but I knew his face for sure. Yeah. But it was Yeah, I think maybe that was one of the issues.
And he
I had
almost plays that
when
part.
When I saw it 20
Kind of
years ago, I must have
Yeah.
caught on to that, and that might be why I was
Yeah.
a little bit disappointed because I kind of saw it coming.
Right.
And of course, I'd already seen it, so as soon as I saw him, I kind of knew, that's probably him. But you give it some leeway because I've already seen it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember like not being that into it back then, and it, this is I've got so many friends whose opinions I respect that really like this movie, and I can't get into it.
Yeah.
I just can't get into it. Like this is the classic Hitchcock innocent man who has to prove himself,
which is always fun to see. Yeah,
yeah, and so like, and I grew up on Hitchcock, so and maybe that's what it is too. Maybe it's like because I'm so bred up on that kind of masterful filmmaking that it's like this kind of pales in comparison. It's sort of like, nah, can't get into
I
it.
forgot how good it is. I mean, I hadn't seen
I know,
it
you mentioned
about
that.
20 years ago in
Yeah.
the theater, and I remember liking it.
Yeah.
Then I watched it again yesterday. And as I was watching it, I was like, God, this is really good. I totally
there's a
forgot
couple
how
good, really good
was.
scenes in it.
There
I mean,
are good scenes in it.
But I did find myself. It was some lulls too, but there was also a scene that I feel like it was maybe stolen for. I mean, Bourne Identity ripped him off when he gets stuck in the glass door and they're shooting at him and it's bulletproof glass. Isn't the same thing happening?
Oh, does it happen in that? I
in
don't
the
know.
Bourne Identity or something? Jason Bourne's like
Maybe.
in some place and he's getting away, and I swear the same exact thing happens in the Bourne. When I think it's when he's. When he steals that map of the building off the wall and he's going, I don't know, or maybe it's right before he meets Run Lola Run, whatever.
She has a name.
Franca
It is, but she has a name.
Franca, someone I think. But right after he sees her or something, I think he's chased through this building. There's this big thing, and I feel like the same thing happens. But anyway, I thought that was a pretty intense scene with him.
I think it was kind of one of the first movies I remember seeing where there wasn't really the chaser wasn't really the bad guy. Like Tommy Lee Jones liked him,
right?
And you were kind of rooting for him too.
No, I liked that, and I liked
good.
It's two good guys,
right? He's just doing his job,
right? And I do like that, and but I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. For some reason, I cannot connect to the film at all.
And there was some funny little people who popped up, like Julianne Moore was in there for a real brief role.
And
Jane Lynch, which I did not remember being there.
I didn't even have any idea that she was even making movies 20 years ago. It's like, oh my God, it's Jane Lynch. What's she doing?
She had a pretty good part.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I thought Harrison Ford was great.
And Guido the Killer Pimp was in there too.
Who?
Guido the Killer Pimp. Risky Business. Have you not seen Risky Business?
Joe Pantoliano. Yeah. Is that his name? Guido in the movie?
No, it's in Risky Business. He's Guido the Killer Pimp.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that really his
I've
character?
got Trig midterms tomorrow, and I'm being chased by Guido the Killer Pimp. That's the line.
Yeah. I thought Harrison Ford was great.
Yeah.
Especially in that first half, and particularly the scene where he gets arrested. He's got that weird shortness of breath.
Yeah.
That's sort of like he can't really answer the question.
Yeah.
And it's like, it reminded me like, anytime you've been to the ER with a loved one, and it's sort of like you're trying to explain what happened. And
yeah, well, absolutely.
And it's just like, you can't really, you're just kind of like moving on adrenaline. And I was really impressed with like that. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I've totally been there. I know that feeling. And it's weird. Like I've never really seen anybody do that.
Yeah, it was. That was a scene I definitely thought could really fall flat if you were just reading on the page. But he brought a lot to that scene, I think.
Yeah,
and a lot of throughout the movie, he just had this real, nice intensity.
Yeah, and I just think like they did a great job with his character, making him sympathetic because you do know he's innocent. He does. He stops to save the prison guard at the bus crash. He risks getting caught by saving the kid at the hospital. So there's like all this stuff that he does. That's a really strong character choice, and certainly to get you to empathize. So.
Right. And the cop that quote unquote doesn't care is obviously starting to care for him. And
now, see, this is where I have a bit of a problem, though, is because I know he's the character who goes through the change, but I never saw the change happen.
In Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
It's because he doesn't want anyone to notice it. I think that's the point.
I know,
he's
but I mean,
gotta
like,
keep his hard shell.
Well, Andy says don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
Right, but I mean,
Do care.
but where was the scene where he decided like Ford was innocent?
It was yeah. I mean, he pretty much played the wise talking, gruff guy the whole way. I agree.
Yeah.
But I did feel like there was a couple moments where, like, basically when he starts getting the clues, and especially I think the kicker was when Harrison Ford calls him maybe and tells him, "Look, I know you're the guy who doesn't care, but I do, and I just found this clue." Blah blah blah.
Right.
And I think that's when he realizes, like, yeah, this guy is not an idiot, and why does he keep returning to this scene of the crime?
Right.
And you can kind of see it, but I agree with what you're saying.
I think he also, from the beginning, there was a line at the beginning where the cops were talking to him, and these guys kind of bungled it.
Yeah.
He didn't really trust the Chicago cops.
Right.
There was something, they just didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
Oh, the scene at the train crash.
Well,
Yeah.
the train crash, that was the local police who were just
Yeah.
local bumpkin sheriff who was
Right.
supposed to be on TV, but the detectives who arrested Harrison Ford, Kimball,
Oh.
they kind of had a line about them, like, these guys are, oh, really? Yeah, the line
Yeah.
about he didn't need the money.
Yeah.
Why was he arrested?
Yeah.
What happened here?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I need to see something where it like clicks inside of it. And he doesn't have to show it to everybody else, but
Yeah.
like I just wanted a moment, and I might have missed it, but I
I feel like I saw it. I don't know what the moment was, but it was believable that he's getting more involved in the case. He's learning more about it.
yeah, I bought that. I just,
Usually
I
it's
know.
not his job. Usually he's able to catch this guy really quick, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have the time to give it any thought.
yeah. I do remember 20 years ago when I saw it, and he goes, "I'm innocent," and he says, "I don't care," and I thought, yeah, well, then neither do I. and I think that's part of my problem I have with it.
Yeah. I didn't love the Tommy Lee Jones character as much as everyone else did. I remember everyone was just going crazy about Tommy Lee Jones,
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones, and I wasn't feeling the same way. I thought Harrison Ford did a fantastic job, but
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I like Tommy Lee Jones. I like that character.
I mean, yeah, I think he's good.
He's cool.
I just don't think he should have gotten the Oscar.
Who was he up against?
There's a ton of good stuff out this year.
Yeah.
Again,
It was kind of his big break into blockbuster.
Oh, it was.
Well,
yeah.
who was
Star-making
the guy up
performance,
for Schindler's List? That was
Ray Fiennes.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
didn't. And so
Right.
Tommy Lee Jones beat him.
Yeah, and he also beat, which I think is a fantastic performance, Sean Penn in Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We didn't even get nominated.
I know. So,
It was kind of one of those supporting actor. They always kind of get the showy ones,
Yeah.
kind of the star-making performance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do also think one of the things I had a problem with, I feel like the climaxes in this movie were backwards. It starts with the train crash,
Yeah.
which is way up here.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the jumping off.
Yeah, it's like intensity.
Yeah, and it's like that's kind of like not quite as intense, but pretty intense. And then it ends with like a confrontation,
Yeah.
you know, at the
Well, this is constant like cat and mouse. He almost catches him. He's almost there, and all these kind of little moments with
Yeah.
on his tail, but nothing. Yeah, nothing big like the way they open.
and then there's like a a showdown in the boiler room.
Yeah,
Which that to me felt like something out of Columbo.
two doctors in a
Right.
Yeah.
fist fight.
Yeah.
Where do they find these? Oh, the laundry room. These empty
Yeah.
floors.
Yeah.
Fighting.
I don't know. That was kind of weird, I thought.
Where poor Joe gets that iron beam. To
I
the head.
know.
That looked pretty painful.
That looked really painful. And then when they showed him like coming out on the stretcher later, he took like a 2-ton
I'm on
I-beam to the
vacation.
face.
He says, I think he says,
yeah.
Going on
I'm
vacation.
going on a paid
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. So, also, I was like, you said it was efficient the way they got into the story,
Yeah.
but there was nothing established between him and his wife. So I just never really felt like I cared about that relationship either.
I thought it took a while to get into that, but there eventually were the flashbacks where they were obviously kind of, having little, playing romantic with each other and stuff.
Yeah.
So you got a sense maybe, and she was cute. I'm trying to think. I mean, has she been in anything else
John
before?
Ford, she's
Yeah.
a huge TV star.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it shows I don't watch too much TV, but I feel like
Yeah.
I've seen her before, but I couldn't place the name.
Yeah. She's been in a bunch of stuff. But I just, I don't know. I wish there'd been something more between them that I could sink my teeth into.
Right.
I also felt like the editing in those flashbacks
Yeah.
felt really bad.
Yeah, well, I didn't care for the flashbacks at all.
It was
I
like,
thought
it's a
that-
dream, but it's not
Yeah.
a dream. And it's like, this is not maybe the
It's
best
all like in the
filmmaker to kind
negative
of...
and like let's strobe it and do all this stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
that could have been done a lot better, I thought.
Well, there wasn't a lot of Kimball mourning his wife. There wasn't
Right.
really any of it except for that first scene where he finds out she's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of things that stopped me from really getting into this.
Yeah.
There's also the other thing that kind of bugged me. There's a scene at the end of Act 2 when they're starting to put it all together. And this is, I think you probably don't have a problem with this, Lee, but because you're good with names.
Right.
I'm not. And so they start going like, I want a patrol car out there by Sykes' house, and then I want Fincher to be up on the roof in case Sykes comes out and talks something to Billy Bob. And I'm like, who the hell are these people? I don't know.
Sykes was the one-armed man?
I think so.
Yeah, Sykes was the
Yeah.
one-armed man.
Yeah.
At that time, he was also, I think, like, he had been tipped off that he was going to be going to Bones to get these things. So he's waiting with Bones, but Harrison Ford had already been there.
Bones.
Right. See?
Yeah.
Bones was like
Bones is the guy.
in
The guy
the
who gave him the tissue samples.
The
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
in the archives.
But
Yeah.
that I remember that because I was thinking Sykes, who's Sykes, who's got, and I was doing the math in
yeah.
my
Suddenly it's
head,
like, where's
and
my scorecard? And
Yeah.
and that scene in any movie, it just takes
just-
me right
it
out.
went
I
when-
hated Gosford Park.
So it went all Game of Thrones on
Yeah,
you.
well, I don't remember it.
It's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Do you guys
It's like
watch
watching-
Game of Thrones? It's like
I don't.
Oh, God.
you need
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
thing laid out in front of you that kind of keeps
Yeah.
track of
I can't
everybody.
I can't do
Whoopie
stuff
got
like
who
that.
and-
Yeah.
Right. And I think you looked at Word,
Whoopie
you
got
downloaded like a spreadsheet, like with connected.
Yeah.
Right? Even
Right.
like, who are half these people?
Yeah.
Well, some people I do know are our sponsors.
Oh, yeah. Who are they?
Well, today they're the Grand Illusion Theater, which is located in converted dentist office. The Grand Illusion is Seattle's classiest, weirdest, and completely volunteer-operated cinema, screening the world's finest art house, foreign, and revival films. Located in the university's...
District.
Thank you. Located in the University District, right across from the Jack in the Box. For more info, visit grandillusioncinema.org. And Honest Tea, which we're drinking today, it's delicious.
It's really good.
Nature made it right. We put it in a bottle. Refreshingly honest. Visit honesttea.com to find a distributor near you.
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care! Put that gun down! Put that gun down! Now! Hands up! Over the head! Turn around! Richard, do you want to get shot?
All right, well, let's look at something see if there's anything here from The Fugitive that you might be nominating this year. Makeup? I don't think there was
No.
really anything there.
The beard was pretty nice.
The beard, yeah.
Yeah, but that was a real beard.
Was it?
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
No.
I don't.
It was.
It was. You
Yeah,
think?
because he's like trimming it. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can do that kind of stuff.
Harrison
Even
Ford would
back
grow a
then.
real beard.
And he can do it like that.
Yeah.
He grew it
Yeah.
in like 3 days.
But
If
what,
that long.
did they shoot in sequence?
Well,
I
shot
bet they
the-
did. I bet they shot the beginning of the
See, his
sequence.
hair was dyed for a little bit, and then it went away.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
He got the Just for Men.
He had 4 outfits. So
He did. He did have a Just for Men, didn't he?
I think
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah.
But it was like for African Americans.
Yeah,
it was.
It was a really weird choice.
I think it was like a guy who wouldn't know what to buy.
Yeah.
It's like,
Maybe.
it's black.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make himself look as different as possible.
Best visual effects.
Well, I would just say they did a really nice job with the accent up front. I don't know what it was up against, but
The
it was,
train crash is great.
Train
I
crash is
couldn't
really
figure
good.
out how they shot it. I couldn't tell if it was rear screen projection or if it was miniatures or it was.
They had one shot at it. They had to do it all in one take. They only had one chance.
Is that
Yeah.
how they did it? Yeah.
I also love that shot of Harrison Ford running beside it.
Yeah,
with his feet
yeah.
shackled and he couldn't go any faster than like 2 miles an hour.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was reminiscent of the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where he's
Right, yeah. The boulder.
Like,
That'd
right.
be
he's
funny.
always-
Wonder how many other
Something's
things.
always
Something's
chasing
all
Harrison Ford.
yeah. But yeah, I do think I agree with you. The waterfall, it looked like they just tossed a dummy over,
Yeah.
which stinks. But like that train crash is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I have to say that was
The
good.
waterfall thing didn't bother me.
Yeah. it
No?
I
wasn't-
didn't care.
Yeah.
It's a big wide shot. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's just a couple wacky limb things. Where
Yeah.
It's like,
It was just like a board basically
Plus he
going down.
dives in and then he's
Yeah,
first.
Yeah. And I think his knees are bending backwards. So
Yeah.
flailing around.
Yeah.
There's a sail on
right.
on Fords.
Best costume design by Aggie Gerard Rogers.
There was 4 outfits in the whole show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing that really jumped out at.
Yeah.
There was one thing I thought that was cool though, and it was probably Harrison Ford. He was always turning his collar up,
Yeah.
and it was like as if that would help him hide. But I thought
Yeah.
it was a nice choice. So.
Yeah. It's just cool too. It's like-
Well, yeah, he picked out outfits that were like with a hoodie in case
Yeah.
you put that in.
Yeah.
well, he wore layers, and so you could always shed a layer, and that was
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah.
Smart.
Uh-huh.
was good to do
I think
that.
he gets some fake glasses or something. If you're gonna be in disguise.
Yeah, you'd think.
Baseball cap.
He had
Didn't
the
he have
Irish.
one?
He had the Irish hat.
Yeah.
Irish hat.
Yeah, the Irish when he went in the parade.
Oh,
he had
right,
the
that's
little
right.
green-
Just
green
lying on the ground, he picked it
leprechaun
up
hat, right.
and
It was in the
eluded
garbage can.
eluded Tommy Lee Jones with a.
It'd be hard to
hat.
track somebody in a big parade, I think.
He did just his coat disappeared. You noticed that in the parade. He
Well, he took it off.
But then what happened?
But yeah, it's kind of like a medium shot, so
So
you don't really
like
see.
drop it. Oh, sir, you dropped your coat.
Right,
It's like, no,
right.
no, shut up. You can have it.
Yeah. Best cinematography, Michael Chapman.
Looked pretty good.
I have to say it was fantastic
Yeah.
because one of our syndicate's members is Andrew Chapman and Michael is his dad.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, it was no slouch. It
Oh,
was,
Andrew's dad did it?
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
yeah.
No, it was
He
very
got
well.
nominated. He got nominated for an
Yeah.
Oscar for it.
And we're also trying to get Michael Chapman in the syndicate. So
Wow, that was
so it was
a damn
fantastic.
fine-looking film.
Michael Chapman, if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
You know, he's a really handsome guy, too.
he's quite striking.
I'd like to meet him.
Yeah. Best editing, there was a whole team of people that worked on this. So
Yeah, editing was, some parts were good and some parts were, probably could have, I don't know, it was 20 years ago, so I guess it was
It
pretty
got
fast-paced.
it did get nominated. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I liked the jumping back and forth
Yeah.
in time. I thought they did that really
Yeah.
well. It didn't feel in your face.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't like those dream sequency
Yeah.
flashback things.
And I guess you can't blame that on the editors. That's kind
No.
of, yeah.
All
Yeah.
the chase stuff was pretty great, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thumbs up editing.
Yeah.
Good.
Best song? I don't remember a song.
I remember kind of smooth jazzy score and like some 80s, I don't know.
The
Well,
score was
yeah.
very dun 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 dun.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, all right, so yeah, let's talk about that. Best original score, James Newton Howard. I
Big
couldn't stand
name,
this
but,
score.
The score felt. The movie itself didn't feel too dated, but the
score
music,
did.
like so many of these movies, when you
Yeah.
look back, the score tends to feel a bit dated.
It had that sort of electronic drum.
Right. Oh, dead on.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
the same guy who did Glengarry Glen Ross, maybe.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah. I looked it up, and
He's done quite
Oh,
a bit
I
of
was-
stuff.
He's done a ton of stuff, but it's
Yeah.
it's
very
very jazzy and sort
Definitely.
of like
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely has a style.
Yeah. All right. Best supporting actor, Tommy Lee Jones.
It was good.
Would you nominate him?
Do you have who else are we talking? Well,
Here's
no,
who
I
else
mean,
got nominated that year.
Yeah.
DiCaprio, Pete Postlethwaite, Ray Fiennes, and John Malkovich were the other 4 nominees. that
Pete.
year.
What was Pete Postlethwaite in?
In the Name of the Father,
Never saw it. And Malkovich was for.
The Line of Fire, the Clint Eastwood movie about the Secret Service agents.
Oh, and that was he the bad guy? What? Who?
Yeah.
He was the bad
yeah.
guy.
I don't remember that, but I think Ralph Fiennes, fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio, that was for Gilbert Grape,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic. I thought.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't
Oh,
seen
you
it?
like it.
No.
Oh, I
We're
love
watching
that
it next
movie.
month.
You won't care about Gilbert Grape.
I bet I won't.
You won't.
Probably
I don't
not.
care that his mom's fat. That's what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another thing, but I love that movie. I love Lasse Hallström, but that's another story too. That's for debating later.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's good. I think he's solid. I just don't know if it's an Oscar
No,
nominated.
to me, it was
worthy-
so straight. It was just so. It's like I'm a big cop and I'm a fast talking. I don't know. There wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of. He wasn't stretching himself too far. I don't
Yeah.
think it was just a very confident performance
It's
without
kinda-
a lot of range.
I mean, he's
guess.
kind of played the same part since then.
Yeah. Well, it did well for him, and he just kept
Yeah.
doing it. But
yeah, it's the first time.
yeah.
No. I know you can't say like
No, it
look
was-
what
it
he did
was-
since, but
it was a fun. It was a fun character, but I didn't feel like I saw a huge range.
yeah.
Is that important? Is that not important? I don't know for this, but but he had some subtleties. I mean, it was good, but
Oh, I'm hearing no.
I'm on middle of the road.
Yeah.
You wouldn't care either way.
But I think like what Chris was referring to before. It's like I didn't. You don't warm up to him too much. I don't know. It was like he was. At times he's kind of a jerk. And
That's okay though. I
But
mean,
it's
you don't
like,
have to
that's
be
okay.
lovable.
Yeah, you don't have to be lovable.
To be
and
good,
it's
so-
But
Like
but they also set up.
Right.
You're supposed to love him. I think towards the end when he's like,
Yeah.
don't tell anybody, and I don't know. Maybe, but that was. But I thought he did. It was good.
Yeah.
It was watchable, and he was. I think it's been emulated. So, people have tried to do that so many times now in so many
Right.
of the cop shows that we see.
Harrison Ford, Best Actor.
I thought he was good. Thought he was really good. Who were the other people that were up?
Liam Neeson, Tom Hanks, Lawrence Fishburne, Daniel Day-Lewis, Anthony Hopkins.
Lawrence Fishburne for what?
What's Love for playing Ike Turner and What's Love Got to Do with It.
I didn't see that one. Well,
He's good.
most of the other guys are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty stiff competition.
It's a tough year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's good. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's worth a nomination, but I thought he was better than Tommy Lee Jones.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones had the showier part, though.
Yeah,
He
much
did.
showier.
Yeah. Best adapted screenplay. Jeb Stewart and David Toohey. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I just never was able to get into the movie, and
They just made a better version of a pretty good TV show.
It was good. It was a really I thought it was a really nice, popcorn movie. Sort of.
Yeah.
It was an entertaining. It didn't necessarily rise above, aside from the really at the time, especially the train wreck and all that opening sequence was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the big excitement, but yeah, after that, it became kind of what you might expect from some of these other films.
Yeah. Best director, Andrew Davis.
It was competent. And
Yeah.
I didn't like, but I've taken points off for the whole murder dream thing. That whole
Right.
recreation
The
of,
recreation of
the murder, and that really bugged me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it's pretty well done.
I guess I think again going back to to me this is a classic Hitchcock movie, and having seen so many Hitchcock films, I mean it's hard to compare anybody to Hitchcock, but it just felt like it was lacking suspense for me the whole time, and another movie we already reviewed, Carlito's Way. There's like a great climax of that film on a train car sequence, and I'm just sitting there riveted, like, oh, how does he get out of this? And I never felt like that at all throughout this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Gotta watch Carlito's Way again.
Best Picture.
It was nominated for Best Picture.
I know.
Yeah. I wouldn't have nominated it for Best Picture.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There was a lot of other ones that would have come first.
Yeah. I was shocked that it was nominated 20 years ago, and now I can't imagine nominating it again. Well, so has it stood the test of time, John?
I think, when you look at a lot of these if you're looking for an innocent man on the run, it's a lot better than a lot of the other stuff that's people have tried to do for the past 20 years. So it's still better than a lot of that stuff. But I think it's a little bit, I'm curious if 20 years ago I did, I do feel like it's a total spoiler because we just told him that we've been talking about how his friend is the guy who did it, so everyone knows that now, and that's a big part of what would have been exciting if you didn't know that. So we totally screwed it up
Except
for a lot of people.
I think we all figured it out though. While we were watching, it was like, oh, that's the guy.
I remember figuring it out, and I didn't remember.
Oh, you didn't really?
My friend did it near the end. I just hate those ones where it's like, oh, it was your friend the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do think what is interesting that 20 years ago, this was sort of like the first movie to have pharmaceutical companies are the bad guy.
Yeah.
And now 20 years later it's like, oh, they are the bad guys.
Yeah, they're still the bad guys.
No, they really are the bad guys.
Yeah.
As for a 20-year-old movie, it doesn't feel dated at all.
It doesn't, except for the score.
Except for the score.
And some of the outfits.
Well, all right, so seems like you enjoyed it, but maybe not.
Didn't rise above.
Yeah.
But it's still,
it's a
I don't
fun
know if
watch,
that's
right?
it's a fun watch.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it and you don't care that.
If you're a Harrison Ford fan, it's definitely worth
If
it.
you're a Harrison Ford fan, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Good point.
You've seen it.
Good point.
Unless you're a youngin'.
If you're
unless you're an 18-year-old.
And if you're a Jerome Krebs fan, you've probably seen it too.
Yeah, so I have this box set.
Yeah. So.
I'll let you borrow it.
Well, thanks for joining us, John.
Thanks for having me.
Do you have a Twitter account, John?
I do. It's Jeffcoat.
Jeffcoat.
That's correct.
There you go. So if you want to see what John's up to, you can follow him at Jeffcoat. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Grand Illusion Cinema and Honest Tea. If you're a movie lover and would like to support us, you can subscribe to the 2020 Film Club. Your annual subscription gets you into 10 of our monthly for your consideration screenings here in Seattle and a ticket to our annual ceremony in February. Over $100 value for only $40. To enroll, just visit us at 2020awards.org and look for the subscriber link. Until next time, remember, it's never too late to start thinking about the past.